Have you ever noticed how most of us spend our days running on autopilot? We wake up, grab the phone before even opening our eyes fully, scroll through other people's lives, rush to work or school, eat while thinking about tomorrow, talk while planning what to say next, and then fall asleep with a restless mind. We keep moving, yet often feel like something is missing. More than 2,500 years ago, the Buddha saw this restless chasing and asked a simple but radical question. What if the way out of suffering is not found by running faster, but by stopping and truly seeing what is happening right now? Among his teachings, there is one path of practice he called satipatthana, often translated as the 4 foundations of mindfulness. The Buddha once said in the Satipatthana Sutta, "This is the direct path for the purification of beings, for the overcoming of sorrow and lamentation, for the disappearance of pain and grief, for the attainment of the true way, for the realization of nibbana," namely, the 4 foundations of mindfulness. These words were not meant to sound mystical. They were an invitation. If we can learn to observe body, feelings, mind, and the nature of experience with deep presence, we can walk away from endless suffering. Think about the last time you were really upset. Maybe someone said something hurtful, or you felt ignored, or you were caught in anxiety about the future. In those moments, our usual reaction is to either escape, scroll, eat, talk, binge watch, or to fight, argue, blame, spiral. The Buddha's insight was, the very act of noticing with clear awareness begins to transform the pain. He didn't say you need to change your life overnight. He said, begin by seeing clearly. Zen master Thich Nhat Hanh often reminded his students, the miracle is not to walk on water. The miracle is to walk on the earth, fully present. That's the spirit of satipatthana. The first foundation is the body, dhammānupassanā. Before you dismiss this as just breathing exercises, consider this. The body is the doorway to presence. When you bring awareness to the rise and fall of your breath, to the simple feeling of your feet touching the ground, you're stepping out of the whirlwind of thought and returning to reality. The Buddha taught monks to watch the body as a body. Breathing in, I know I am breathing in. Breathing out, I know I am breathing out. Nothing magical, just knowing. A modern worker, sitting in front of a screen all day, can practice this by pausing between emails and noticing the breath for 3 cycles. A mother, feeling overwhelmed by a crying child, can pause and feel the ground beneath her feet. A surgeon, before picking up a scalpel, can steady his hands and his mind by being aware of the breath. This simple seeing brings a surprising kind of peace. Zen master Hakuin once wrote about a moment when, in despair, he sat and felt his own breathing until the chaos of his life settled. He didn't seek a cosmic answer. He found sanity by returning to what was already here. The body is not an obstacle, it's the anchor. When you're overwhelmed, bring attention to posture, to movement, to sensations. Even washing dishes can become a meditation if you really feel the warmth of the water and the touch of the plate. As Thich Nhat Hanh said, while washing the dishes, wash the dishes. But mindfulness isn't just about the body. The second foundation, dhammānupassanā, mindfulness of feelings, asks us to notice the subtle flavors of experience, pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. We rarely notice this layer, yet it drives so much of our life. You check your phone and see a like. Pleasant. Someone ignores your message. Unpleasant. Most of life's reactive patterns are built on these micro-feelings. The Buddha advised, when a pleasant feeling arises, know it as pleasant. When an unpleasant feeling arises, know it as unpleasant. That's it. Just know. Why? Because knowing frees you. When you're aware, you're less likely to chase or resist blindly. Imagine being cut off in traffic. Instantly, irritation surges. Normally, you might honk, curse, stew, but if you're trained in mindfulness of feelings, you can catch the unpleasant feeling as it sparks. This is unpleasant. Strangely, naming it gives you space. It's like watching a wave rise and fall instead of drowning in it. Or when you taste your favorite food, pleasant. You can notice the joy without clinging or rushing for more. The simple act of recognition is powerful. Zen master Suzuki Roshi told students, leave your front door and your back door open. Allow your thoughts to come and go. Just don't serve them tea. Observing feelings is like this. You don't have to stop them. Just don't build a castle for them. Daily life is full of these micro moments. Waiting in line and feeling impatience. Sitting in a meeting and feeling boredom. Getting a compliment and feeling pride. Each is a chance to see how feelings color the world. The more you notice, the more freedom you have. You're not a puppet pulled by strings of craving and aversion. You're aware, awake. Then comes the third foundation, dhammānupassanā, mindfulness of the mind itself. Here, the Buddha asks, what is the quality of the mind right now? Is it greedy or generous, angry or calm, distracted or collected? This is subtle work. Most of us think we are our thoughts, but in mindfulness, we step back and watch. The mind is restless. The mind is joyful. The mind is anxious. We're not judging. We're seeing. A story goes that once a student told Zen master Bankei, my mind is so troubled, I can't meditate. Bankei said, bring me your mind and I will calm it. The student looked confused. I can't find it, he said. Bankei smiled. There, I have calmed it. When we observe the mind, we realize it's not a solid thing but a passing flow. Today you're cheerful, tomorrow anxious, then calm again. Like clouds in the sky, they shift. Seeing this loosens the grip of moods. You no longer assume, I am anger, but anger is visiting. That's freedom. In modern life, this practice is gold. You're about to send a heated email? Pause. Notice, the mind is angry. Just that can stop a regrettable reply. You're about to make a big purchase? Notice, the mind is craving. You might still buy, but with clarity rather than compulsion. A mindful mind is a wise mind. Finally, the fourth foundation, dhammānupassanā, will take us deeper into understanding the nature of phenomena themselves, how everything arises and passes, how clinging leads to suffering, how letting go brings peace. This is where mindfulness matures into insight, the heart of vipassana. But before diving there, it's worth remembering something. All of this is not philosophy for monks alone. It's for anyone who breathes, worries, loves, and sometimes gets lost. The Buddha didn't teach to escape life. He taught to live fully, awake. He said, "Be a lamp unto yourselves." Mindfulness is that lamp. It lights the body, the feelings, the mind, and the patterns of reality so we stop stumbling in the dark. Imagine living each day not numb and reactive, but aware and free. You still work, love, play, face challenges, but with a presence that makes each moment more alive. We've been walking together through the practice of mindfulness, beginning with the body, then feelings, then the mind itself. Now we step into the heart of the fourth foundation, dhammānupassanā. This word can sound abstract, but it really means looking at phenomena, the patterns of how things arise and pass. Here, the Buddha invites us to study life as it is, not through philosophy, but through direct seeing. The Satipatthana Sutta gives many ways to explore this. One is watching the 5 hindrances: desire, ill will, sloth and torpor, restlessness and worry, and doubt. These are not sins. They're simply the usual weather patterns of the mind. Desire comes like a warm breeze, promising happiness if we just get that thing. The new phone, the perfect partner, the next like on social media. Ill will shows up as irritation, from tiny annoyance to deep resentment. Sloth and torpor wrap us in heaviness, making meditation and meaningful action feel impossible. Restlessness scatters us, worry loops in endless what-ifs, and doubt whispers, "This won't work, you're wasting your time." The Buddha didn't say we have to hate these states or suppress them. Instead, he said, notice when they're present, notice when they fade. This noticing weakens their grip. A monk once asked the Buddha how to overcome desire. The Buddha replied, "When desire arises, know it as desire. When it is not there, know it is not there." Simple, but profound. Awareness is the first step to freedom. Imagine sitting down to work and instantly wanting to check your phone. If you're mindful, you can see, desire is here. Just naming it buys a breath of space. You may still check, but with less compulsion. Or maybe you choose to stay with your task. Or consider doubt, that sinking "I can't do this" when you start a creative project. Seeing it as doubt rather than truth changes everything. Zen master Shunryu Suzuki said, "In the beginner's mind, there are many possibilities. In the expert's mind, there are few. Doubt shrinks possibilities. Awareness opens them back up." The fourth foundation also includes watching the 5 aggregates: form, feeling, perception, mental formations, and consciousness. These make up what we call me. The Buddha taught that none of them is fixed or solid. Your body changes, feelings shift, perceptions are unreliable, mental habits can be rewired, and consciousness flows like a river. Seeing this breaks the illusion of a permanent, separate self. It doesn't make you a robot, it makes you freer. Less chained to ego and its endless demands. There's a Zen story of a monk who asked his master, "Who am I?" The master replied, "Who is asking?" That's the entire practice of watching the aggregates. We begin to see that what we call I is just a changing dance of body and mind. In daily life, this is surprisingly practical. The next time you're embarrassed about a mistake, remember, feelings arise and pass, perceptions shift, identity is fluid. You are not locked into any moment. This gives courage to start again. Another teaching within this foundation is observing the 7 factors of awakening: mindfulness, investigation, energy, joy, tranquility, concentration, and equanimity. They're like inner qualities that grow as we practice. At first, mindfulness might feel shaky. You forget, get lost, remember, forget again. That's normal. Over time, investigation grows. You get curious about experience. Energy follows. Joy sneaks in when you realize you're not entirely at the mercy of thoughts. Then tranquility, a gentle calm. Concentration deepens, and equanimity, a balanced, unshakable heart, begins to emerge. This isn't cold detachment. It's warmth without clinging, love without fear. The Buddha didn't mean for this to be locked in monasteries. It's for life. You can watch hindrances at work during a tense meeting. You can notice aggregates when scrolling social media, how feelings and perceptions create an image of self. You can nurture joy by appreciating small victories. You can taste equanimity when you respond to criticism with understanding instead of rage. Slowly, mindfulness becomes a way of living, not just a meditation session. One of the most famous Zen sayings comes from Master Dogen. To study the self is to forget the self. To forget the self is to be awakened by all things. When you watch body, feelings, mind, and patterns with such intimacy, the hard shell of me against the world softens. Life becomes more fluid, more alive. You laugh more easily, suffer less unnecessarily, and respond to challenges with greater wisdom. But this isn't just poetic. It's medicine for modern suffering. Anxiety, burnout, loneliness all feed on our habit of running away from the present. Mindfulness flips the script. Instead of fleeing discomfort, we learn to stay, to observe, to see that even pain changes. Neuroscience now confirms what meditators have seen for millennia. Observing pain or anxiety changes how the brain processes it. You're literally rewiring. Take a very ordinary example. You're waiting for an important email. Each minute feels endless. Restlessness builds. Your mind imagines worst-case scenarios. If you practice mindfulness, you might pause and feel the tightness in the chest. Label the feeling impatience. Notice thoughts spinning, and breathe. Nothing outside has changed. The email hasn't arrived, but your relationship to waiting softens. You suffer less. Or imagine parenting a teenager. They slam doors, roll eyes, test limits. Without mindfulness, anger and fear take over. I'm failing as a parent. With practice, you can notice the wave of anger, the fear beneath, the desire to control. You can breathe and choose a wiser response. Mindfulness doesn't make parenting easy. It makes it possible to love even when things are hard. The Buddha compared mindfulness to a guard at the city gate, watching who comes and goes. Without the guard, any thief can walk in. With mindfulness, you see thoughts, feelings, and impulses before they hijack you. You're no longer an unguarded city. Zen master Ryokan once wrote, "Too lazy to be ambitious, I let the world take care of itself. 10 days of rice in my bag, a bundle of twigs by the fireplace. Why chatter about delusion and enlightenment? Listening to the night rain on my roof. I sit comfortably, with both legs stretched out." This isn't apathy. It's a heart free from endless grasping. Mindfulness can lead there. Simple contentment in the midst of life. If this sounds unreachable, remember, the Buddha started where we are. He was a human being who faced suffering, sickness, aging, death, and sought a way out. His genius wasn't in inventing some strange religion. It was in noticing what's already here. Breathing, feeling, thinking, changing. He turned toward reality rather than away from it. And he found freedom there. This path doesn't demand perfection. You don't have to meditate like a monk for hours a day. You can begin right now. Pause and feel the breath. Notice a feeling. Watch the mind. See a pattern. Smile at your own wandering. Come back again and again. Each return is a small awakening. Thich Nhat Hanh often told his students, "Walk as if you are kissing the earth with your feet." Imagine living like that. Each step, each word, each breath infused with presence. You still chase dreams, solve problems, love people. But you do it awake, not asleep. When the Buddha described satipatthana as the direct path, he wasn't exaggerating. It doesn't bypass life, it meets life. It doesn't give quick fixes, It gives freedom. Over time, you notice you're less reactive, more compassionate, more alive. That's worth every gentle breath. And while this path can lead all the way to profound awakening, the end of suffering, it also helps right now. In the middle of a stressful job, a heartbreak, a health scare, mindfulness brings clarity and calm. It's not escapism, it's sanity. So as we continue, let's remember, the 4 foundations of mindfulness aren't ancient relics. They're living practices. They invite you to know your body, feelings, mind, and life itself with open eyes. To step out of autopilot and into freedom, one aware breath at a time. Mindfulness becomes truly alive when it leaves the cushion and walks into ordinary life. Sitting quietly for a few minutes a day can open the door, but the real transformation comes when awareness touches washing dishes, driving to work, holding a child, sending a text, or standing in a crowded elevator. The Buddha did not teach mindfulness as a weekend retreat hobby. He taught it as a way of being fully human. One of his most striking instructions was to practice awareness while going forward and returning, while looking ahead and looking away, while bending and stretching, while wearing clothes and eating, while talking and remaining silent. That was over 2,000 years ago, but it could have been written for our distracted era. How often do you walk somewhere without remembering the journey because your mind was somewhere else entirely? How many meals have you eaten without tasting a single bite? Bringing mindfulness into these small acts is revolutionary. Imagine beginning the day with a single conscious breath before touching your phone. Feel the cool morning air, the chest expanding, the mind waking gently. You might still check messages. Mindfulness doesn't forbid technology, but now you're awake as you do it, not dragged by impulse. When you shower, notice the water's warmth, the scent of soap, the body waking up. When you drink coffee, really taste it. These are not trivial details, they're life itself. Zen Master Dogen said, "If you cannot find the truth right where you are, where else do you expect to find it?" Workplaces are another testing ground. Stress thrives in reactivity. The email that sparks panic, the colleague's tone that triggers defensiveness. Here, the 4 foundations become living allies. The body can be an anchor. Feel your feet on the floor during a tense meeting. Feel the breath when anger arises. Feel the jaw soften when you want to snap. Feelings can be recognized. Pleasant pride when praised, unpleasant sting when criticized. The mind's quality can be named: restless, anxious, competitive, inspired. And the deeper patterns, craving for approval, fear of failure, can be seen without self-condemnation. Each moment of seeing is a tiny liberation. Zen stories are full of masters turning ordinary work into awakening. One tells of a monk who asked his teacher for the secret of enlightenment. The teacher said, "When hungry, eat. When tired, sleep." The monk complained, "That's what everyone does." The master replied, "Yes, but when they eat, they think of 100 things. When they sleep, they dream of 10,000. That's the difference." To do one thing fully is radical. Relationships may be the most challenging and rewarding ground for mindfulness. With partners, friends, or family, our triggers flare quickly. An offhand comment can ignite years of old wounds. Practicing the first foundation, we can notice the body's reaction, the clench in the stomach, the heat rising. Practicing the second, we can feel the unpleasant wave without exploding or shutting down. The third helps us see the angry or fearful mind without being owned by it. The fourth lets us understand this is craving for love, fear of rejection, a passing pattern. In that awareness, we may choose words and actions that heal rather than harm. Thich Nhat Hanh taught deep listening and loving speech as mindfulness in action. Before answering a hurtful remark, breathe and feel the heart. Before judging, notice the feelings of insecurity or pride. Mindfulness doesn't mean becoming passive. It means responding from clarity rather than reflex. Over time, relationships become gentler, more honest, less caught in cycles of hurt. Another place mindfulness changes everything is with suffering itself. Physical pain, illness, loss, anxiety. Our normal instinct is to resist, distract, or numb. But resistance often makes pain worse. Mindfulness invites us to look gently, to breathe with what is hard. The Buddha compared this to being shot by two arrows. The first arrow is the unavoidable pain of life. The second is our mental resistance, fear, anger, self-pity. We can't always stop the first arrow, but mindfulness spares us the second. People with chronic pain often report that mindful awareness doesn't magically erase discomfort, but it softens the suffering around it. Anxiety works the same way. Noticing the racing heart and worried thoughts with gentle curiosity can stop the spiral. Modern psychology borrows this insight in therapies like mindfulness-based stress reduction, MBSR. But it's nothing new. It's the Buddha's medicine applied today. Neuroscientists find that regular mindfulness practice calms the amygdala, the brain's alarm system, and strengthens areas linked to emotional regulation. But beyond the science, it simply feels human. To breathe, to feel, to know you are alive even in struggle. Mindfulness also nourishes joy. Not the fleeting high of consumption, but the quiet happiness of presence. When you really taste an orange, watch a sunset without photographing it, hold a friend's hand without rushing elsewhere, joy arises naturally. The Zen master Ryokan once played ball with children and wrote, "We toss the ball, we laugh, the sun sets. Who says this is not enlightenment?" Being awake to simple life is a profound antidote to the endless hunger of modern consumerism. At the same time, mindfulness is not about self-absorption. As we become present, compassion grows. Seeing our own suffering and impermanence softens judgment toward others. We begin to recognize everyone wants happiness, everyone struggles. This shift can transform communities and workplaces. A mindful leader listens deeply. A mindful doctor attends fully to a patient. A mindful parent guides with patience. Even in social activism, mindfulness keeps the heart steady and avoids burning out in anger. Yet the path is not linear. Some days you'll feel beautifully aware. Other days you'll forget and drown in distraction. The Buddha anticipated this. He said the practice is like training a wild animal. It runs, returns, runs again. You don't beat it, you guide it patiently. Zen master Shengyan told students, "Illusion and enlightenment take turns. Just keep practicing." For modern seekers, consistency is often the hardest part. Life is busy. But mindfulness doesn't demand long hours. Even one mindful breath before a meeting, one conscious bite at lunch, one moment of noticing anger can change the day. Short pauses, repeated often, reshape the mind. Over time, they add up to profound change. It helps to have small rituals, setting an intention in the morning, walking mindfully from the car to the office, taking 3 breaths before answering a phone call, silently naming feelings when they surge. Some people use reminders, a watch vibration, a bell, an app, to return. What matters isn't perfection, it's returning again and again. And when you fall off, when you scroll mindlessly for an hour or snap at someone, mindfulness can meet even that. Notice the guilt, the regret. Breathe. Begin again. No need to turn failure into another weapon. This is a path of kindness as much as awareness. The Buddha's own life shows this. After his awakening, he spent 45 years walking dusty roads, teaching not from a throne, but from the ground of human experience. He met kings and beggars, skeptics and seekers, always with patience. Once a man insulted him harshly. The Buddha listened and asked, "If someone offers you a gift and you do not accept it, to whom does the gift belong?" The man said, "To the one who offered it." The Buddha replied, "Then I do not accept your anger." That's mindfulness alive, presence, clarity, freedom from reactivity. Our world desperately needs this. We're surrounded by distraction, outrage, and noise. Mindfulness is not escape. It's resistance. Resistance against unconscious living. It's a way to reclaim our own minds and hearts. Imagine workplaces where people pause before reacting. Families where listening replaces shouting. Societies where compassion tempers debate. This begins with each of us, one breath at a time. Satipatthana may seem ancient, but it's quietly revolutionary today. It's how we stop being strangers to our own lives, how we taste the present, understand our minds, and meet the world with clarity. It doesn't promise a life without pain, but it offers freedom in the midst of it. And that freedom radiates outward, into our work, relationships, and society. If you've stayed with me this far, you may have already felt a quiet shift. Simply listening about the 4 foundations of mindfulness can slow the breath, soften the shoulders, and bring a tiny taste of presence. But this teaching isn't meant to stay as an idea in the mind. It's meant to be lived. The Buddha never asked anyone to believe blindly. He said, "Come and see for yourself." Satipatthana is an experiment you run in the laboratory of your own life. It begins simply. Right now, you can pause. Feel the breath. Feel the weight of the body where you sit or stand. Listen to the sounds around you. Notice what's happening inside, maybe calm, maybe restless, maybe a mixture. Already the first foundation is alive, awareness of body. The second comes as you ask, is this pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral? The third appears as you see the state of the mind, focused, distracted, hopeful, bored. And the fourth foundation wakes when you sense the impermanence of it all, this breath passing, this mood shifting, this story in the mind appearing and disappearing. No one else can do this for you. Zen master Yunmen once said, "Every day is a good day." He didn't mean every day is easy or pleasant. He meant that when you meet each day fully awake, body, feeling, mind, and life itself, even challenge becomes part of the path. A good day is one you truly inhabit. Some people imagine mindfulness as sitting cross-legged in silence, but the Buddha practiced and taught it everywhere. Walking through forests, begging in villages, resting under trees. You can practice while commuting, working, laughing with friends. The point is presence. When you're fully present, life stops being something you rush through and becomes something you actually live. Consider how this can reshape common struggles. Anxiety becomes waves you can ride rather than a storm that drowns you. Anger becomes heat you can feel and cool, rather than fire you must throw. Craving becomes a passing itch, rather than an order you must obey. Joy becomes deeper because you're awake enough to notice it before it slips by. Relationships become more genuine because you see yourself and others with clarity. Work becomes more meaningful because you're not lost in autopilot. Even success and ambition change texture under mindfulness. The Buddha never said you shouldn't strive or create. He simply warned against losing yourself in the striving. Many Zen masters were poets, calligraphers, gardeners. They worked hard, but with presence and humility. When you practice satipatthana, you can chase goals without being consumed by them, celebrate wins without arrogance, and meet loss without despair. This path also teaches compassion at a deep level. As you watch your own mind, its fear, anger, longing, you stop expecting perfection from others. You realize everyone is carrying invisible struggles. Compassion naturally grows, not from moral duty, but from seeing clearly. The Buddha said, "Just as a mother protects her only child with her life, even so should one cultivate a boundless love toward all beings." Mindfulness opens the heart to such love. Zen master Hakuin, after years of fierce training and doubt, had an awakening so profound it filled him with laughter. He later wrote, "From the beginning, all beings are Buddha." This isn't a mystical claim about status. It's a reminder that clarity, kindness, and freedom are already in us, hidden under layers of confusion. Satipatthana is how we uncover them. None of this requires perfection or special talent. You will forget. You will get lost in thought, react, scroll endlessly. That's not failure. That's practice. Each return is a victory. The Buddha compared it to training an ox. At first it wanders, but gentle, steady guidance brings it back. Mindfulness grows the same way, slowly, kindly, persistently. If you'd like a simple starting rhythm, you might try this. Take a few conscious breaths each morning before looking at your phone. During the day, pick one activity to do mindfully. Perhaps eating lunch, walking to the restroom, or listening to a colleague. Each evening, pause for 1 minute to feel the body and notice the day's most vivid feeling. These tiny practices, repeated, plant seeds that can change everything. Over time, you may add formal meditation, but the heart is the same. Being here. And when life becomes overwhelming, a loss, a heartbreak, a major change, these foundations become lifelines. You can ground in the body when the mind is spinning. You can feel and name the storm of emotion instead of being swept away. You can watch thoughts and know they are not permanent truth. You can remember impermanence and find hope. This pain, too, will change. The world we live in hungers for this kind of awake presence. We're bombarded with distraction, outrage, and fear. Mindfulness is not a retreat from the world. It's a way to return to it sane and compassionate. Imagine leaders who pause before acting, parents who listen deeply, friends who are truly present. Each mindful breath contributes to a more conscious culture. The Buddha ended the Satipatthana Sutta with encouragement. If anyone should develop these 4 foundations of mindfulness for 7 years, or even for 7 days, one of 2 fruits may be expected. Either final knowledge here and now, or, if there is a trace of clinging left, non-returning. You don't have to interpret this literally. The message is that even a little sincere practice can bring profound change. a week of mindful living can alter a life. Zen master Thich Nhat Hanh often told students, "Smile, breathe, and go slowly." That may sound too simple for our complex lives, but it's radical medicine. A smile of awareness can interrupt a storm. A slow, conscious breath can shift a heated argument. Going slowly, even for a moment, can return you to your true life. So here is the invitation. Do not let your life pass in a blur. You have a body, feel it. You have feelings, know them. You have a mind, observe it. You have this vast flow of life. Study it gently, lovingly. Each moment of seeing is a step toward freedom. If you found this reflection meaningful, take it beyond this screen. Try it now. Close your eyes for one breath. Feel it fully. That's the doorway. Step through it whenever you remember. And if this journey into the 4 foundations of mindfulness has touched you, share it with a friend, with a loved one, with anyone who might need a moment of presence in their busy day. Together, breath by breath, we can create a world that is a little less reactive, a little kinder, a little more awake. And if you're watching this on YouTube, remember to support this space so more people can discover mindfulness. Click like if this helped you. Subscribe for more mindful explorations and share this video with someone who could use a breath of calm today. Your small action can ripple out to help others find presence and peace. Above all, keep practicing. Come back to the breath, the body, the feelings, the mind. Watch life as it unfolds. Let the wisdom of the Buddha, the kindness of Zen masters, and the simple miracle of awareness guide you. The path is not somewhere else. It's right here, in this breath, this step, this moment. Walk it with courage and with love.